Welcome to the Hustler's Handbook podcast. I'm Easton. In this show, we explore the stories of relentless go-getters, uncovering the secrets behind their success. We talk life, work, and everything in between. The highs, the lows, and the grit it takes to keep pushing forward. Tune in and get inspired right here on the Hustler's Handbook podcast. Welcome to the Hustler's Handbook podcast. I'm your host, Easton Johnson. Today's guest is Franklin Johnson, owner of Oly Basketball Academy and Northwest Regional Director for West Coast Elite Basketball. Thanks for joining us today and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Most definitely. So just to get started, what sparked your passion for basketball overall and coaching?
Overall, just to be honest, we come from the same place. To be honest, you guys, the people I grew up with watching play basketball, football, all sorts of sports, the Easton Johnsons in the world, the Aaron Johnsons in the world, Phil Davis, all those guys, everybody that, I kind of grew up around watching them play, really inspired me to, want to play myself. And I was able to be blessed to get on the court at a young age, and figure out that I was kind of good at it. And so everything else kind of fell into place. Found myself playing college basketball, and kind of moving from there. After college, I always knew I wanted to coach. Always knew I wanted to be, a college basketball coach. I wanted to recruit. I wanted to kind of build a team my way and do those things. So after college, I was had the opportunity to become a head assistant coach at the college level right away. And it definitely, I was young. I was about 22 years old. I had the opportunity to coach some of the guys that I played with. So it was kind of weird, but it really showed me who I was as a coach, and it really taught me how to, you know, um, earn respect within my players and within my team. So happy to do that, and one thing led to the next, and here we are now.
That's awesome, man, and especially being so young and getting the opportunity to get into coaching right away. And so did you have a lot of like resources and people you worked with to get you on that path of coaching?
I don't think I had a lot of resources. You build resources within your game. I played in a lot of gyms. I played in front of a lot of people and with a lot of people. So, just in that regard, I definitely had a lot of people that I knew within the game. But the ultimate resource I had was my college coach at the time. He put me on the map, and he gave me an opportunity, and then he actually stepped away after my sophomore year, and then I got a new coach who basically became another huge role model for me. And he my senior year came around, and he said, "Hey, I'd love to have you as a coach here." At that point in time, I thought it was going to be just like a volunteer assistant type job, doing laundry and all the dirty work. And things lined up for me to where the head assistant job opened up right as soon as the season was about to start, and I was actually the only candidate in position at that point in time. So it made sense, and I was able to jump in there and do that. And so but yeah, resources being, how I was raised by my parents, and just hard work, and putting yourself in positions to be successful.
That's so cool, man. And being able to, like I said before, hop right into it and, adapting and working with people your age. So
Yeah.
how were you able to gain that respect from the players as a younger coach?
Yeah, definitely. It was. I kind of thrive on lead by example. So leading by example as a player. When I was playing with those guys, I wasn't a very vocal leader, but I was a leader. I wasn't very vocal with it. I kind of just always did what we were supposed to do. And led that way. And so as a coach, I had to kind of transition and lead using my voice. But I had already had some respect on the court with the way I played and the way that I took care of business on the court. So it was pretty seamless transition. I just had to learn how to talk to people and learn how to, communicate effectively, and, become a leader. I was coaching guys that were older than me. I coached at an NAIA level. So a lot of NAIA schools, you'll find guys that are, a little bit older, 25, 26 years
Mm,
old, still playing the game, and still in college, after whatever happens, and they come down from a Division II, Division I school, NCAA. So, I had a lot of guys that were a little bit older, but still showed me a lot of respect just because of the way that I, carried the game and the way that I carried myself, and just the pure confidence that I had of knowledge of the game.
mm. So just leading by example, and I think that goes a
Mm.
long way in itself that, there's coaches out there that'll talk, but the players have never seen them play on the court or
Yeah,
anything like that. Where for you, it shows, they've seen you play, they know how it goes. So that's pretty cool. And this was all at Evergreen State College, correct?
correct.
Okay. And so how did you transition from Evergreen State College and graduating there to becoming the owner of the Olympic Basketball Academy?
Cool. Yeah. So it kind of all started during COVID, to be honest. So I was just, I made a lot of sacrifices to chase my dream, which is, I woke up every morning and watched my dad go to a job that, he didn't really enjoy,
Mhm.
all the, like, as much as he could. I asked him one time, what did you want to be when you grow up, like when you were young, what did you want to be? And he said, I never had time to think about it. And
Mm,
that really stuck with me. So I always made a sacrifice. I sacrificed money, I sacrificed friends, I sacrificed, a lot of things to stay in a job that wasn't paying very much, but
mm,
I loved doing it. So I stayed down and was working one job, just doing the coaching thing, making, like $5,000 a year,
mm,
doing that, just living off of that, trying to figure out how to do it. And COVID hit. So, we actually didn't play that during that
mm,
season. And the the institution Evergreen decided they weren't going to pay assistant coaches while they weren't working.
mm,
So I was kind of put in a box. I didn't have anything else. Jobs weren't hiring at this time. I was doing DoorDash and driving around delivering people's food. Um,
mm,
and I started to train kids out of my garage. I put it out on Facebook and said, "Hey, I'll do Zoom trainings for $5 a session," and I was doing like
mm,
body weight stuff and ball handling and all sorts of things. And I actually got a couple kids, and those kids started to come and work out with me at my house. I had a hoop outside. I went and bought a hoop outside with that money, and put it outside. And we were social distancing while we
mm.
were training. Couldn't touch basketballs, but we were making it work. And
Mm,
$5 a session turned into $25 a session, and so on and so on. And next thing you know, I had about 20 to 25 kids that I was training every single week. And we were working really hard, and got just one thing led to the next. And I was able to land a job at a gym that was still operating in Centralia during COVID, and I grew my clientele from there. And basically, but I just got lucky. We came back from COVID, and I was promoted to head coach at Evergreen, and I decided to move the academy, or whatever I had. I decided to move it to Evergreen, and
mm,
work through there. And so we built a couple teams, and 2 years down the line, we now have from 2 teams to 25 teams, all from third grade, boys and girls, all the way through high school. So it was just perfect. Some people, we talk about COVID, and some people unfortunately lost a lot during COVID. But I was one of the lucky ones that it really changed my trajectory, and really changed um, what I was doing, and how I envisioned things, and created new goals for me, and I was able to chase those. I'm not one to sit here and say I was self-made or anything like that. Anyone that's talked to me about the game, anyone that has, any type of knowledge on the business side of things, I really enjoy learning.
mm,
I'm not one to think that I know everything. I
mm,
feel like I do know a good amount of things, but any type of game that I can get from anyone, I'm
mm,
taken. And so there's a lot of people that have really furthered my dreams and my passion, and experiences just because they had one single conversation with me and I picked something up. They tell a
Mhm.
story about Denzel Washington and how he's a fantastic actor, and he still goes to like beginners acting classes and whatnot and
Mhm.
sits through them and just sits through them because he may not learn anything in the whole class, but if there's one thing that he picks up,
Mhm.
that's that much better. And so I'm kind of the same way. If I can pick up one thing that makes me better, I'm I'm uh, I'm better than I was.
Mhm.
But in terms of individuals, there's Jason Baskett who owns Emerald City. Well, he used to own Emerald City Basketball Academy,
Mhm.
one of the first academy like basketball true academies in the country that was ever created. As a big influence for me. He kind of helped me start everything. He gave me a lot of guidance, and he's still here today, dropping gems and doing all sorts of things to help me out, take my business to the next level. So that's one individual that I have a lot of love for, and that helped me a lot. I think understanding the business side of basketball, just the business side of
Mhm.
everything, where we're dealing with, LLCs and taxes
Yeah.
and all the numbers, right? All the numbers where it's not just about basketball anymore. It used to be just all about basketball, and now it's how do we pay people, and what's
Mhm.
payroll, and what
Mhm.
are taxes looking like? How do we budget? How do we do these things? Our business is a $250,000 business, so it's like how do we in revenue? How do we manage that? So that's all a learning curve for me. I have a master's degree in leadership, and I have a bachelor's in media arts, so I'm not a big business guy, but I think that part of it is very challenging. But once you start to understand it, and like I said, I'm kind of a sponge, so you know finding knowledge off of other people, and kind of communicating and talking to guys that have been through this or been doing this for such a long time. You kind of learn how to maneuver those things. And then another challenge, just owning your own business, is how the which I think every business owner kind of has this. It's the fear of like one thing and it could all be gone. You know, um, just one thing could happen and you could lose so much. So having that, I have a lot of employees, I have a lot of coaches under my organization, and one thing that another individual does or says or anything like that could put jeopardy in everything that we've worked for to build. So just having that, and hiring the right kind of people and going through the hiring processes and vetting people, and really bringing in people that have like-minded goals, is it's a challenge in itself. So I think those two things there, with uh with running a basketball business, are kind of the most challenging things, but we find a way to get it done each and every day. So
So I've been to ECBA and other training academies, and I see how hectic and busy they are. So can you just walk me through like a typical day of what you do and how your academy flows, and just basically like a typical day for you and how you run your overall academy?
yeah, for sure. I mean, my days typically start around 10 a.m. or so, and that's when it's all business side of basketball type things.
Mhm.
From plotting out our social media to um figuring out ways to promote our business, and so on. And then obviously all of our numbers and everything that we need to do, and preparing for whatever's next. Right. And so, but then, yeah, I mean, our gym is open from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. every night, every day, except for Saturday and Sundays. No weekends. We're usually at tournaments those days. But a typical day for me is I don't have to train so much anymore. So I head to the gym and kind of oversee everything, and work on things while I'm there that I've been working on all day. But we train. We have training classes, two or three classes per night, and then we have a ton of practices happening. Our gym is hectic, 100% hectic, but it's a lot of fun, and it's very busy. We have an academy style vibe to our gym. So I always picture it of being like a boxing or a MMA gym where, guys are just kind of doing their thing, and working on whatever they need to work on. We have that similar vibe. We have people training, we have practices going on at the same time. During all of that, we only have one court, so we'll have like a training session going on one side of the court on one hoop. We'll have a whole practice going on the other side on another hoop, and then we'll use the middle of the gym for Vertimax training or speed
Mm.
ladder stuff or anything like that. So we maximize space. I always say at Oly Basketball Academy, you're gonna learn how to use space. You're gonna learn how to work with what we got. So it's really a good vibe in the gym all the time. The kids can come in, and if they need to work on ball handling, then they can pick a coach and get a ball handling session in. If they need to work
Mm.
on their shooting, they can go and get shots up. They can figure it out. And so it's all it's pretty hectic, but it's a lot of fun and it's a lot of good work being done. And now that it's summer, we utilize outside as well. So we have people
Mm.
run it. We operate out of a church, and so it's a huge church, big campus. So we always have people running around, doing laps around the church, doing lunges outside, all sorts of stuff. But in terms of typical day, I kind of head to the gym about 3 o'clock, 3:30, and I'm there from about four p.m. to 9 p.m. just observing. I coach one team, one U17 team, and we don't practice very much. We practice once or twice a week.
Mm.
So I'm not doing so much. I'm doing a lot of mentoring of my younger coaches.
Mm.
Just kind of build their bags up when it comes to coaching, and just kind of overseeing everything and making sure everything's running smooth and that we're being very efficient with our time.
Mm. And how are you able to manage that work-life balance also? Because you do have a lot of responsibility owning your own business. How are you able to manage home life with work life?
Yeah, I'm fortunate to have a family that grew up. My son is 1.5 years old, and he grew up in a gym, and there's no other place he'd rather be.
Mm.
And then my fiance, she's bought in 100%. She's my right hand when it comes to
Mm.
admin and everything. So she has a lot of skin in the game when it comes to our business as well. So I'm able to bring my family to the gym every day, and
Mm.
and my son runs around like a crazy person all night long and shoots and runs and dribbles the ball and does his thing. And then my fiance, she's kind of in the same boat. She chases him around and kind of hangs out at the gym and just has a good time and talks to parents that she knows and has created relationships with. Something that's huge for us is in our business and what we do. Money's great. Making money's great. Being big business is cool, but we're a big time family. So we
Mm.
have a lot of relationships within our academy, with the parents, the kids, the families in that are involved in our academy. We take them in, and they become family to us as well. So every night doesn't feel like work. It feels like we're gonna go hang out with friends. So
Mm.
it's a good time.
Well, that kind of answered my next question. Besides building that camaraderie and family, what separates your academy from any other basketball academy out there? What separates Oly Academy versus any other academy?
Yeah, well, one is our staff. We have some of the best coaches in the state of Washington under our belt. All of my directors are college basketball coaches. So I don't think there's another academy that can say that.
Mm.
Every single one of my top coaches has college coaching experience and has been a college basketball coach at one point. And that's a big deal. Next is our training. Our training is something that separates us. The teams are great. The games are fun. The tournaments, traveling, that stuff's all fun. But our main focus in our basketball academy is player development. And that goes from being on the court to off the court. We do cool things with mental skills training. We bring in a, um, a, a sports psychologist,
Oh wow.
once or twice a week to talk and run sessions with our players. We have strength and conditioning. We send them to another gym as well to do just weight things and strength and conditioning courses as well. So our main goal is that when you step into Oly Basketball Academy, you're coming out as a stronger, better human being as well as an athlete. So That's kind of what's our separator is. We focus on the betterment of you in every single way.
Mhm. I like that, man, and that's awesome. I think, just even having that overall, it makes it feel like you're not going to go train, It's like, yes, you're
Yeah,
training, but it's like it's not dreadful, Growing up playing sports, you're like, oh, I got to go to training. I have to go to training versus be like,
yeah,
hey, I get to improve my skill sets. So
exactly.
yeah, that's really cool, man. I love that. So there's a lot of basketball players out there. There's a lot of people who want to train and teach other people how to play basketball or just improve other people's games. What advice would you give to somebody who's starting out and trying to create a basketball academy or train youth athletes? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, one is I think you have to cut to be successful, in my opinion, obviously, to be successful, you have to make it about the kids. You can't make it about the business. You can't make it about how much money you make. You can't make it about, your personal IG and how many followers you got. You have to make it about the kids and you have to cut politics.
Mhm.
Something that makes us unique as well, which I should have said the last question is we're a no cut program. So when you come to our tryouts, you're gonna get on a team. 100%. We don't cut kids. We don't tell them that they're not good enough. We don't do that. So everybody has a place in our program. And so if you're just starting and and you're trying to get into this game, make it about the kids. Make it about, doesn't matter their skill level, doesn't matter how much they can afford to pay you for a session, doesn't matter if they can't meet your fees, or if they can't afford to rent the gym that you have to go to train them. Like it doesn't matter. Go work out at the park.
Mhm.
Find a way. Like I said, this was all created on the street outside of my house with a raggedy rim, that we bought from Walmart that we played dunk ball on for 2 months before it all started. So, I think if you make it all about the kids first and not yourself or not the money, people really buy into that, and people understand. And you don't even have to say it. Parents enjoy that you actually have a what's the word I'm looking for? Have a good relationship and want to see their kid do well. And
Mhm.
so, I think that's kind of how I built my name, and my reputation is politics come to die wherever I'm at. So, I
Mhm.
don't care if you got cut. I don't care if you're the so and so son. I don't care who you are. If you want to play and you want to get better, then let's get better.
Hmm. I like that. I like that no cut policy too, because it gives the kids the chance to be like, hey, we can still improve, get better, and not just shut them down because kids get cut and then they don't want to play basketball again,
Exactly.
and could kill their dreams. And there's been phenomenal athletes who just grinded and ended up succeeding. So I think that is tremendous on your guys' part for doing that in itself. So that's really
Yeah.
cool, man.
Yeah, most definitely. I think it's one of the trademarks of our, and we like to say we're going to be the pioneers of it.
Mhm.
Because you don't see a lot of programs not doing cuts and whatnot. We even try and get away from, tryouts. Like we don't even like calling our tryouts tryouts.
Mhm.
We like to call them placements, and we're
Mhm.
going to place you based on skill. And something that's unique with us is we put our best coaches with our most developmental teams.
Mhm.
And like I will coach a developmental team. I'm the
Mhm.
top coach in our academy, and I'll go and coach a very, very developmental team.
Mhm.
Just because that's what they need. I'm not going to
Yeah.
put one of my young guys with one of my very developmental teams. One of my
Mhm.
young coaches with one of my developmental teams. It just doesn't.
Mhm.
That's not going to give them what they need on both ends. So,
Mhm.
I think that's we really strive to be the pioneers of that, and um, do something that nobody really has done before. I'm in a unique position where every single year in June, um, there's this thing called graduation, and that really for the high school kids. This year is probably the biggest class that we had graduate. It was the first team, if you will, the team that started it all. All those kids were able to graduate this year. So watching them receive, scholarships, or, it doesn't even have to be basketball, just academic scholarships, and walk the stage, and graduate, and, have them texting you, asking you if you can be there, and, all these things. That's what keeps me motivated, to keep going, knowing that, hey, I've got a lot of kids that I care about, and a lot of kids that I got a lot of love for, that are doing great things outside of, basketball, because of, the discipline they learned from us, or this, the self discipline that they learned from us, or, whatever it may be. If they do sign scholarships to go play at the next level, just being able to have, a helping hand in that, really, really makes my day, and makes me wake up every morning excited to go and do whatever it is I gotta do.
All right, so you brought up before that you have a $250,000 business in revenue, and you've seen a lot of rapid growth with your company. What achievements are you most proud of right now?
Um, I'm most proud of the team that we've built. Staff. I have three directors, three assistant directors underneath me, um, and one. And at first it was kind of just a cluster of us doing all sorts of things, just running around with our heads chopped off,
Mm-hmm.
not knowing how to run a business at all. To now understanding our roles, and these guys do a tremendous job at what they do. I have a director that helps me on the high school end, and that's all we worry about is high school and social media. And then I have my that's Lucas Kelly. KJ Witt is our middle school director, and he has grades 6th through 8th, and he takes care of everything in those range, from parents to players to player development to our communication, team snap, all sorts of things. And then I have a youth director in Coach Q, Steplight, and he takes care of all of our first, second, third, fourth, and fifth grade teams, and everything that has to do with that. So, we've established rules, and one thing that I'm that's what I'm proud of is our staff, and the team we built. We all have the same vision. We all want the same types of things, and we've gone through some tough times together where there may not have been pay. We were just kind of working on $0 and just
Mm-hmm.
donating our time, and you know now we can enjoy the fruits of our labor, and I'm really excited about that. The money's great, everything's good, but if you don't like and have people, if you don't like the people you're around, and have people that are going to push you and push you to push your goal, or to reach your goals, and to elevate you and your game, then you're just going to sit in the same spot the whole time. And I believe I have three individuals that push me in different ways to be the best leader that I can be.
Mm. And that's the thing, especially being the leader of this business, you still want to grow. I think that's one thing I've seen a lot with doing these podcasts is these owners and businesses, they want to grow, and they're not stuck on this, hey, I did what I need to do, y'all work for me. They just want it. You guys want to continuously grow, and I think that's going to help you tremendously, and it's shown obviously already. So being able to see and hear all this is really cool to see, man. Very proud of you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's the one question that every meeting starts with. Every single one. Like, how do we
Mm,
how do we get bigger? How do we
mm,
grow? What do we need to do to get bigger? What do we need to do to get to earn more families to believe in us with their kids and their sports? Like, how do we do that? So
mm.
that's a huge question, and that's something that comes up every single meeting.
For sure. And being able to keep it on the mind of all all the staff too, so they know that there's always goals at hand and where you guys want to be in the future too.
Absolutely.
So for our listeners, if anybody has children or anything like that, do you guys run any or have any upcoming tournaments, camps, or clinics that you have planned, or anything you want to plan in the future that young athletes could attend to?
Yeah, for sure. We have our yearly tournament, which is actually this year, or this weekend. We're super stoked about. This year it's called a little bit different, but we usually call it Welcome to Oly. And last year we had about 36 teams attend. This year we
Oh,
have
wow.
Yeah, well, this year we have 91.
Oh my goodness,
So the
congrats.
growth is crazy. We do camps and clinics all over the place. Something that's a
Mm,
trademark of us and what we do is we do a lot of free clinics, free
mm,
camps. So we'll come into a gym and it will be 100% free. And we'll come in and run a whole clinic and run a whole camp or whatever it may be with all of our coaches. So, always be on the lookout with that. Our social media is a great place for us to, we showcase everything that we're doing, and we also showcase a lot of the results. We're driven by results. So we showcase a lot of the kids on our social media and their successes and their highlights and those things. So, follow us on Instagram at Oly Basketball Academy, and you'll kind of find out more about us. And we're one of the biggest. We are pretty much the biggest academy basketball organization in Thurston County. Um, I would say even. Close to being in Pierce as well, so we're pretty big academy.
that is awesome, man. And I've been following you on social media and seeing the growth that you've had and just seeing it happen so fast, man. And it's cool to see, because good people deserve good things, man. And your hard work is paying off and it's showing, man. And putting those kids first is huge, and when you put other people first, good things happen. It's weird how that works, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
So real quick before we wrap it up, is there anything else you would like to add? Any other social media platforms that you would like to promote for anybody to follow or anything like that?
No, I think I just Instagram, if I had to add anything, I would say, I was super stoked to do this podcast. I've never really done one before, so I was super stoked to kind of, jump on here and just kind of talk about, what we do and our beliefs, and I think that's a thing that you don't, as a normal individual or someone that is just seeing things from that, watching our social media, for example, just watching
Mm,
you don't get to see what goes on behind the scenes and all of the work and what our values are. And
mm,
so I think that what you're doing in the Hustlers podcast, like a Hustlers Handbook podcast, is amazing. It's giving people an opportunity to um, tell their story, and everyone has a story, and
mm,
they're so different, and they're so unique to their success. I've been watching a lot of uh, documentaries about Dana White in the
mm,
UFC, and
mm,
just how things work out for people, and how things you just find yourself in the right place at the right time. And and
mm,
for me it was COVID, unfortunately, but it was
mm,
COVID. I was, one thing led to the next, and now I'm here. And so one thing could happen in your life that changes everything, and sets you on a path that is, you know, uh, miraculous. So,
mm.
I think that that's super important to understand, and anyone going into a business venture, or, getting ready to do something that they've dreamed about or are chasing a dream, you know, bet on yourself, and take the highs and take the lows, and take every punch that comes in between, and you never know where that next punch might land you.
I hope our listeners are able to reach out and get their kids training with you guys because you guys got a good thing going. So, well, thank
Absolutely.
you again, Franklin. Thank you everybody for listening to the Hustlers Handbook podcast.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Like I said, I really enjoy that, and yeah, I think it was great.
Thanks for tuning in to the Hustlers Handbook podcast. I hope you found today's episode as inspiring and insightful as I did. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your fellow hustlers. Keep pushing, keep striving, and remember, the hustle never stops. See you next time.